What's going on, guys? Chuck back with another awesome Blu-ray purchase. And today we're going to take a little bit of a nostalgia trip back to the 1980s, circa 1990. But nothing screams 1980s quite like a 1980s Scream Queen. And none of them probably scream better, or at least were more famous for being a Scream Queen, than the one and only Linnea Quigley. Now, I'm sure most of you watchers are very familiar with Linnea Quigley. And, for those of you who don't know, she was a very popular 80s scream queen who starred in several, B-movie and slasher flicks. You can, so many there that come to mind. There's Silent Night, Deadly Night, Savage Streets, I think Creepazoids, Sorority Babes, and the Slime Ball Bolorama. Um, uh, if I didn't mention Night of the Demons, and of course Return of the Living Dead, and on and on and on and on. There's so many. She is very, very famous, very, very well known. Well, around, I think it's actually probably about 87, 88 maybe, um, the idea came across for her to put out a straight to video release of her own. Something kind of, what would the, I won't say niche, but word is escaping me right now. What I'm looking for, novelty in a sense. That's it. And what started off as a joke, more or less, became what is well known as Linnea Quigley's Horror Workout. This was a very, very popular VHS release, as you can probably imagine why. um, they kind of developed a bit of a cult following, I believe. And from what I understand from the director of this, it was kind of started as a joke, because being on a set with Linnea, doing one of her, preparing for one of her, numerous scenes where she had to go through the same, routine over and over again. He had made a comment, she should start a workout video, and it kind of became a joke. But somewhere along the line, they decided, hey, there's something in here. The 80s workout tape was a huge thing. At the time, everyone was putting out, James Bond was probably the most famous for these workout tapes. But he thought, why not put a little horror twist on it? And, so Linnea decided to put out, again, her horror workout. This was recently released from TerraVision. I believe it's the first time it's released on Blu-ray. There was a DVD release. I'm not sure of exact when that was, but it is represented on this as well. Now, my background with this is none, honestly. However, I remember hearing about it, because around this time, this was like, so this was really, like I said, it was believed to film 87, 88, somewhere around what they said on the commentary, but it was released in 1990, which would have put me at 15. So, prime age for something like this. Wow, 15. And which is basically the demographic for Linnea Quigley around the time is, those young adults, probably 15 to 18, somewhere in there. Young males, preferably, or, predominantly is a more prominent word. But I think I recall maybe seeing it in a video store. I know had seen clips of it, but I don't recall if I ever saw the whole thing. But it's something I've always known about. And so when I saw that TerraVision had this and was going to release it, I jumped on it immediately. This was amazing. Well, I got it, and it came in, and I did check it out. And let me just say, it is pretty much what you expect it to be, if you're not familiar with it. If you came into this unfamiliar with it and you're expecting a solid workout video, you came to the wrong place. And that's pretty much, this is only an hour long. It's a real quick watch. But again, the tone of this video, this is what it was shot on video, is set from the very beginning as you have what is probably the greatest opening credits scene ever seen, as it's just Linnea Quigley taking a shower. and you get to, the camera lingers long on, endearingly all over Linnea's body, sans dress, if you will, in the shower. So that's the whole credits. There tells you this is not going to be this is not Jane Fonda's workout for sure. And again, and that's, it was never intended to be. Let's be honest. This is, a film that's tongue firmly in cheek, and kind of poking fun at the idea of a little bit of the idea of the workout video, as well as your typical horror tropes that were popular at the time. And it's basically, it's you have, let's see, I'd say about 4 different segments, I think, in this. After the gratuitous shower scene in the credits, you go to Linnea just basically introducing herself, talking about her video or movie she makes, and how it's hard to do certain aspects of it, which kind of pokes fun at certain things, and it's also poking fun at the viewer and his particular viewing habits he may have while watching her movies, I should say. Not video, she's not a porn star, but her movies. So there's a lot of tongue-in-cheek with that. And then you go into a very long, I was a warm-up, but she's basically doing stretches, and she's wearing like a leather lace stock. It's not your typical workout attire, but she even mentions would you really want me to see me working out if I was wearing something like baggy sweats? And she's right. No, he wouldn't. And this video knows its audience. And that's basically, again, you're just watching Linnea stretch for, oh my God, it's probably 10 minutes, maybe, I don't know, maybe not be that long, but it's a very, very long sequence. Maybe it's talked about in the commentary that these sequences are very long, because they only had an hour to film. They said, the director mentioned they could probably have done this video in like a half an hour, but they really, the producers, whoever, wanted to make it a full hour. So you were to stretch out some of these scenes. These sequences are very, very long, and it's just, this is like a long stretch of her just stretching and twisting and contorting. I mean, it looks good. Again, there's no mistake. If you're the demographic for this video, when it came out, again, probably 15 to 18-year-olds, you're getting your money's worth. It's doing its job, if you know what I mean, and I think you do. And of course, throughout that, she's making a little commentary, little jokes here and there. Of course, she gets a perverted caller, making these little funny bits. So that goes on forever. And then you cut her seeing her running through a cemetery, followed by zombies coming alive, and following her to her home, where she stops them and makes them do a long dance routine / workout by the pool. And this is another sequence that goes on and on and on. This one is not as titillating as the previous, which probably makes this one seem longer, because at least when you're watching the first scene, you're more focused on what's there, if you know what I mean. Again, if you're the demographic, you're focusing more on that, watching Linnea gyrate everywhere and stretch and twist. But again, this thing is her basically leading I don't know, it's not really a chorus line, but it's a choreographed dance exercise number with these various zombies by the poolside, which ends in, as you probably would think it would end, with a poolside dance workout vignette. From that, you cut to the slumber party scene, which is Linnea and I think 4 or 5 of her scantily clad friends, all dressed in negligee, lingerie, skimpy outfits, and they are going to work out together, as I'm sure you do at a slumber party, or at least every young male's fantasy of a slumber party is exactly what they do. And this is another long segment, But again, much like the first one, I think you probably tolerate it more because it is definitely more titillating than that middle zombie piece. But again, this video knows it's demographic, and this is it's giving you your money's worth, as it were. Which then, you know, it cuts into a little bit of a slasher, the slasher joke at the end of the film, if you will. And that's pretty much the it's really, in a nutshell, all the Linnea Quigley horror workout is. Let's call it what it is. For the most part, it's masturbation material. But it's fun. I mean, obviously, but no, it's fun. It's a great I want to say insight. It's a great time capsule a lot into the 80s and the Scream Queen, and poking fun at the horror genres or tropes, excuse me, and again, the whole workout craze that was very prominent in the 80s. I think by the 90s, I can't remember if it was like picking up or it was dying down. It might have been right in that middle flux, but they're obviously poking fun of it, and you know, it's just goofy, silly fun, and you know, honestly, it's, you know, if like I said, I was 15 when this came out, so I was at the ripe age for something like this, and I know if I had access to it, I'd have wore out the VHS tape. That's all I'm gonna say. As I'm sure many other men at that age probably did. So, this release from TerraVision. You see there's a nice close up of everything on here, and in the back we have some more Linnea. Here's your side, and it's upside down. There's the right side up. There we go. Okay, and it's the slip. You see, one thing that I'm really impressed actually was how limber and flexible Linnea Quigley is. I think in the commentary, she mentioned that she can still kind of, you know, stretch like this a little, not quite as much, but close to it. But so there's this. Here's your back. Inside we've got, let's see here, spin this around, maybe. There we go. There's the Blu-ray with all her Slumber Party friends. And this is interesting because this little kind of gag at the end of her next video is cooking with Linnea, which they had never made, but they always wanted to do because it'd been kind of fun, which I think that'd be hilarious. And they even joked that maybe they could still do it. I think they could. I'd check it out. What else came in this? Basic little flyer, I think, for some releases from TerraVision and something called Creep Coins. Nothing too fancy, just more, you know, advertisement really. So what is on here, special feature wise? You've got some new interviews, I believe. So Fit to Kill, an interview with Linnea Quigley. Sweat into the Zombies, an interview with Kenneth J. Hall, who I believe was the director. I could be wrong about that. I don't think, actually, I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. Cemetery Dance interview with Cynthia Garris. And then there's a new commentary with Linnea Quigley and Kenneth J. Hall. Yes, he was the director. Moderated by TerraVision's Brad Henderson. Now I listened to this commentary. And again, the video is only an hour. I actually watched the video and then went back and watched a commentary over it. And it's interesting. I can tell it actually the commentary was done over Skype. And it is, you know, this is a recent commentary they did, but it was done over Skype because there was some breakup a little bit in here. And also, there's at one point where they mentioned that the video was freezing on them as they watched it. And from that point, they're almost like 5 minutes behind at what's being shown. So if you're watching the video and they're talking, you're having a conversation, doing a commentary over it. After that, the incident where they mentioned that their video is freezing a bit and they're kind of resetting, at that point on, they're almost like 5 minutes behind the action. So something happens on screen, they won't talk about it until about 5 minutes later on the video. So like I said, it's kind of disrupts the commentary a bit. but it's still an interesting commentary, very informative. When they talk about the shooting locations, how the idea of how this idea came about, some of the problems they had, and with some of the cast and other issues. So it's an informative hour commentary. Again, it's just an interesting little glitch that being wasn't live or in person. It was over Skype, but they had the technical difficulties would kind of show in that commentary. Now that is a new commentary. Let's see. It also has a new 5.1 mix. It was created from the original tapes, which I listened to the actual original mono mix. I didn't listen to 5.1, which there's not really much in there. I think you would have 5.1 surround on it, except maybe the music, I'm guessing. But again, I did not listen to 5.1. Because you got a new trailer, the Terrorvision trailer. You do have an isolated score from which, again, that's the 5.1. It's probably going to enhance the score more than anything else in here. And you also have the archival commentary with Linnea and Kenneth Hall. So this is from the DVD release. You have that original commentary, which I did not listen to, so I don't know if there's anything different. I'm sure there probably is. I'm not sure when that was released. You have an archival making of Linnea Quigley's horror workout, so the old making of, again, probably from that DVD release. And also, I know there's also an introduction from Linnea and Kenneth J. Hall, which was from the DVD, so they put it on here also. So basically, the DVD release is archived on this Blu-ray release as well. It says here, versions of the film that are included. You have the main version, which is at 720p. This is the original master tape. Was it Dinnerlaced? Some big word I can't pronounce. And scaled using a method that preserves how it would have originally looked when shot. The SD version, the 480 version, it was a direct capture of the original master tape, encoded in standard definition, and they have an all upscale or AI upscale version, which is 1080i. It was a new upscale version with a sharper image. Now, to be perfectly honest, maybe I need to look at it longer. But I played straight the video straight out from the play menu, and it was standard view. It wasn't like HD or anything. It was crop, and it looked okay. It looked good. So I went back. I saw the upscale version, and was it the SD version? I started those, played both of those options, and I didn't really see a difference. Now, I only watched maybe a minute of both those versions to see if there's like any immediate standout differences. And again, I am not, like I said, I'm not a big audiophile. I'm not a videophile. I couldn't tell you differences, and honestly, like for things like Blu-ray, 4K, 1080, it has to be a really major difference in quality for me to really notice. If it's something very minute, I'm probably not going to catch it. To me, everything looked pretty much the same. I'm sure there were differences, but to my naked eye, or glassed eye, I couldn't make them out. So I don't know. Again, someone with better knowledge and a more discerning eye for that kind of detail would probably notice something, but myself, I did not. But the image quality does look good. It you notice was made for VHS in 80, 88, whatever it was, 89. It looks good. It's good quality. It's a good quality copy. Everything looks great. You see all of Linnea in her glory, and very, very high quality from what I can. I mean, it looks fantastic. It looks good. I just don't see any differences in the version they provided, to my judgment. So, again, let me get this back in here. Linnea Quigley's horror workout, a fun nostalgia trip from 1980s. I don't want to say, I guess you could say a little cheese and sleaze. like I said, it's good, goofy fun. You know, Linnea's having a blast. She's very proud of this, and she should. It's you know something you want to put out there. It's a lot of fun. She is a bona fide, you know, star. This is awesome that she put this out, and again, it's just a lot of fun. And honestly, like I said, you know, if you are that demographic, and maybe you are still in the higher demographic, but you remember this and you know what this is good for. But it's a fun party watch too. If you having like a little horror party with friends and who are in the 80s kind of cheesiness, I think this is something good to play. I mean, other than the gratuitous shower scene at the front, there's like no other snips of nudity. Now, there's a lot of TNA in the beginning from that, but that's you get your whole quota in that shower scene. Once that's done, or maybe at the credits, a flashback to that, like a blooper reel or something, you may get some nudity. But other than that, it's only in the title credits. After that, she's scantily clad, but clothed. But so, Linnea Quigley's horror workout from TerrorVision. Check it out if you can. It's a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I had fun with it. I'm glad I picked it up. So if you enjoy this, click thumbs up, share, subscribe, leave me a comment below. Let me know if you recall Linnea Quigley's horror workout, whether it be VHS, if you had the previous DVD, or if you're just purchasing this Blu-ray. I'm sure there are thousands. I know there are thousands of fans of Linnea Quigley. Myself, I actually have two. I probably had too many posters of I got of Night of the Demons and Silent Night, Deadly Night that are actually autographed by her. I didn't get her to actually personally sign them, but a group called Terror in the Isles, which puts on a lot of shows for the drive-in I go to, and which she was a guest at several years before I started going. I'm really upset I missed that, but she had signs and stuff for them, and I managed to buy it from them, and they're very respectable and trustworthy. So I know these are actually really great signatures from her, but they're really cool to have. And I've always been a big fan of Linnea Quigley. I love everything that I see her in, and she's, from what I understand, she's a fantastic, very fun, fun-loving, and genuinely nice person. And this is fun, and it's sexy. So, and you know what? Maybe you can get a workout of some kind. That workout is up to you. So until next time, this is Chuck saying I will see you on the other side.